Good afternoon. We need to talk. We need to talk about something here. Smith & Wesson is doing some things really well and doing some things pretty poorly. Okay, so recently, as of 2 days ago from filming this, it was released, announced, whatever, that the new Smith & Wesson Shield X was announced, was available. Some people had seen it early, and there's some videos going on around it. Now, for those of you who don't know, we are at the Shield X, going off of Smith & Wesson's website here. We've got, here's the Shield X, okay? Looks lovely, right? And initially, everyone's like, wow, that looks like the Bodyguard 2.0. Well, it's true. It does look like the Bodyguard 2.0. So let's say, why does it look like the 2.0? Well, those slide serrations. That's true. That grip. Well, that's mostly true. The angle of it is very reminiscent of the Bodyguard 2.0. The grip texture, most definitely, is reminiscent of the 2.0, of the Bodyguard 2.0. Okay, well, good. But is the Shield X better than the Shield? Well, the Shield Plus. Well, I mean, probably in lots of ways, but let's think about that. Let's look. Here we go. So my OG Shield Plus, Here we go. So this thing, we got a 3.1 inch barrel. We have a grip which is short. We got 10 round grip. Okay, and again, let's see if I can do this right-handed, left-handed. That's where my grip ends up. My pinky hangs off the bottom of it. Now, there's other ways you can resolve that. I think there's pierce grips. They have a nice little hook on the bottom. And also, I mean, there's other things like, well, for example, like here's the 12-round extended pinky mag for the subcompact, like the 9C, but it's called the subcompact. Okay, you could do things like that with the Shield Plus. You have a little pinky grip. 10 rounds, nice, short, small gun. But most people run it this way, as do I. The 13-round grip makes sense. And what the the Shield X is doing is extending this grip and still having the same 13-round standard capacity, or moving up to a 13-round standard capacity. They are doing it by changing around the base plates a little bit. There is some confusion or some questions about why you can't fit original Shield Plus mags. Well, you can't fit this Shield Plus mag into the new Shield X without some modification. But it does still take the same mags, basically, the same form factor. Now let's get to the more obvious, the bigger things. Let's see here. So here is the, oops, that's the wrong one. Here's the Shield Plus Carry Comp. Nice gun. Lots of people like it. Shiny, pretty, comped, red dot, cool, slide serrations, all the pretty things that all the people want. It's not necessarily much better. We've talked about this. It isn't necessarily much better. So let's look again at the Bodyguard. I keep calling it the Bodyguard, but the Shield X. Okay. We've got the Shield X. We got the 2.0. Boy, what is this called? Carry Comp. And we've got the Shield X. It's the same dimensions for the most part. This is a they call it a 3 point. They call it a 4-inch barrel minus the comp. Okay, just like the original. This is an actual 4-inch barrel. This is the Performance Center Shield Plus. This is the 4-inch barrel. Okay, so then they call this the comped version is the something less with a comp, or you just call it full 4 inches, right? The Shield X is a little bit shorter, not by much. They're gonna make a version that's comped, I'm sure. And the Shield X is basically just here we go, look at it again here. The Shield X is just a larger size Shield Plus. has the longer grip, which you're doing this anyway. Putting a longer grip in the Shield Plus. You're changing up the grip on the gun, and I think they're screwing it up. So look at this here, okay? So the grip on the gun is omitting that grip texture along the center here. It's omitting the grip texture along the center. Some people say that that's because it's hurting people's bellies as they carry the gun. Okay, maybe so. I don't know. But if someone is that much bothered by it, they can grind it down or whatever the case may be. Now, I will point out too that this is the let's say this is the closest version to the Shield X. Okay, 4-inch barrel optic cut. But what they're doing is they're cutting this out a little bit here. Okay, they're cutting this part out right here. Let's see if I get a better picture of it. They're cutting that out a little bit more. So I think there's value there, and they're adding a beaver tail, which is fine. The beaver tail is encouraging people to hold the gun higher. Now, if you look really closely, let's look right here. You can see where that roll pin is, and then the amount of material below that. And we're looking here, let's zoom in, the amount of material here and below that. Let's see how that stacks up. So it does make sense that they've cut out more material, in my opinion, from the Shield X. Great. You hold the gun a little bit higher. You have better lower bore axis on this. That gun is more shootable. That's good. Now, let's look at. Let's see if I can do this here. So here's obviously this is still the Shield X. But the difference between that distance here, which is the same as the Shield, and the Bodyguard, let's see if I can find that here without new Bodyguard. Here we go. Look at the distance between that. Okay. Look at the size of the trigger and the Bodyguard. And the size of, let's look at the takedown, okay? Takedown lever is smaller. Look at the Shield Plus again. Look at the Shield Plus again. Let's look how much material we have here between the slide and the trigger. This is where they're wasting space. Now, the Shield X and the Shield Plus are basically interchangeable in most ways. Not every way, but almost most. Pretty most. But the Bodyguard has a lot less, look at this, a lot less material between the trigger and the slide. That is why the Bodyguard is better to shoot. That is why it's more concealable, feels better. When people are saying that the Shield X is the new Bodyguard, they are wrong. It is not. It does not have the same lineage. It has cool slide serrations. It has different grips. Okay, but look at this. This Performance Center Shield Plus and this Carry Comp look quite a bit different. Except they're not. They're not different, really. It's just different slide serrations, and there's a ported barrel. Slides are the same. Everything's the same. Optic cut's the same. I mean, well, optic cut is almost the same. Pretty much everything is the same on these guns, except it slides different. So no different than the Shield X. The Shield X is just a rehashed. It's just another look. Now, I will give it some credit. We're going to go back. Okay, Shield X. The things that they're doing right, they're adding a pick rail for light. That's good. Good job. It's time. Now, they're also squaring off the trigger guard. In many people's opinions, that is good. I think not a lot of people use a squared off, serrated front trigger guard. But there's no drawback to having that square if you don't use it. Not a lot of people will grip their gun. Not a lot of people will grip their gun like this, okay? But if you do, or whatever it is like this, If you do, you got a little more leverage maybe, but it's just a manual farms that a lot of people don't really use. But if the Shield X is squared off, there's no drawback to those people who don't use that. The huge drawback is that they're using different holsters. That is a problem. Now, it's not a huge problem. It's a problem that they were going to run into eventually. And I mean, from the Shield, the original Shield 10 years ago or more really, to the Shield 2.0, to the Shield Plus, they've been using the same holsters. It's really good. They've actually been using the same light accessories, the TLR, well, let's see what I got here. TLR 6. Yep, the TLR 6, and then they upgraded to the 6L. Let's see if I got that here. Which one was that? Whatever. 6H, TLR 6HL. Okay, whatever. But they have this light. Now, it's a little bit funky. It's a little weird that it's not... it leaves you a little bit less room in the trigger guard. I don't really like that. But it is a small gun. It's intended to be a small gun. It's generally a summer carry, not really what you think of as a winter carry. Needing to put a gloved finger in there is not that particularly likely, okay? But that light is acceptable. But moving on to have better lights, that's good, okay? More options. I don't know why I can't even look this up. This is ridiculous. There we go. Undercut on the Shield X is a little bit better, okay? Everything else, it's the same. Not even the trigger is different. The slides are interchangeable. The barrel's interchangeable. The springs are interchangeable to some extent, looks like. You cannot put a... Okay, you can't put this two-piece, or what do you call it, extended 3.1-inch barreled spring. You can't put that into the Shield X. It has a single stage spring, which of course is similar to the Performance Center, right? The 4-inch, which is also the same. It's the same as this one, the carry comp. But everything else, it's just interchangeable. And lastly, I'm going to gripe about this a whole bunch. The biggest thing wrong with the new Shield version from Smith & Wesson is the name. The Shield X. The Shield X. What are we, Dr. Xavier's students? What is this? Are we doing arithmetic or logarithmic? I mean, we had the Shield 1.0, the Shield 2.0, so 1 plus 2. Okay, so we're at pluses, I guess. The Shield Plus, well, that's also plusing, addition. Now we're going to Shield X, so that's multiplication. X meaning multiplication. So the Shield multiply. What? Or are we doing, what's the next one? Shield slash? Shield divided by sign? Shield, squared? Like, what are we doing here? This is silly. I understand X is trendy, but we've missed that boat. X is dumb. Okay, the X as a branding is stupid. The P365 X macro, blah blah. Like, there's all types of. The brand is overused. Now, if they're just saying this is one crappy placeholder gun, not even crappy. Okay, it's probably good, but this is some placeholder gun. We're going to put a placeholder name in there because to some extent the Shield EZ is kind of a placeholder for the equalizer. Okay, one could make that argument, but if we're just wasting a branding name, then this is the time to do it. The Shield X is stupid. It's like, what, the Shield Twitter? The Shield X is the Shield Twitter? What? I mean, for one, I've liked Elon for a while, and I've liked Twitter for even longer. And when he bought it, yay, wonderful things. Did lots of good things, not everything good. The worst thing he did was just name it X. What? I don't understand. Why? I mean, who names... I don't know. It's just a letter of the alphabet. So, and it's the, whatever, it's dumb. It's silly. The Shield X has a horrible name. It's basically just rebranded Shield Plus or rebranded Carry Comp. Doesn't mean it isn't better. Okay, the grip length is better. I think people saying, oh, it's thinner. I think we're going to find out, and I haven't seen the specific dimensions. I think we're going to find out that the Shield X, they say that it's thinner. It may only lose a little bit of material right here, okay? Tiny bit. I don't think it's any thinner here. I don't even think it's any thinner right there, or barely by much, okay? Maybe a little bit cut out right there. And it's interesting that people were saying that, used to be that when the Hellcat was released, or the 365, people were saying, oh, it's just too small. It doesn't shoot as well. And it's true, it's too small. It doesn't shoot as well, both of those. And so they made larger versions of them, the 365 XL, the Hellcat Pro, I think. I don't remember exactly. But around that time, remember Smith & Wesson still had their Shield 2.0 when those two guns were released. And then soon after, Smith & Wesson released the Shield Plus. Obviously a big contender, and the first thing people said right away is that this gun, the Shield Plus, is easier to shoot, then has lower recoil or manageable recoil than the 365 and the Hellcat, the original, small versions. And part of that was because the grip was bigger and more round. You could get a better grip purchase, and I hate that, a better purchase on this gun. Yeah, back to what I was saying to begin with. My pinky hangs off for this, but I can still grip it reasonably well with medium-sized hands, right? And then same thing with the 13-round mag. Again, back where we started. That's a good grip right there. So they're making a wise choice extending the grip, but if people want a good concealed gun, they can just keep doing this as they've done for the last 5 whatever years. So, and now we deleted the option for a smaller carry, lower footprint in the Shield X. So, I don't know. Obviously, I don't have the Shield X in my hand. I haven't shot it. But I mean, it's the same internals from everything I can see as the Shield Plus, especially the Shield Plus carry comp or the Shield Plus 4-inch performance center. So I think Smith & Wesson's just trying to follow a trend. Now, I'm glad they're not calling anything the 3.0, which is clearly not new, okay? None of these are particularly new. There's not a big piece of technology that's different. A lot of the parts are interchangeable, which is still a good thing. If the guns are working well, keep the parts interchangeable. Agreed. But what they need to do is have a whole new design, like with the Bodyguard 2.0, that they saved a lot of space on that. They made the gun smaller, the internals smaller. They improved a lot of things on that. But the Shield X is not the same design as the 2.0. The Shield X is not the same design as the Bodyguard 2.0. Oh, last thing I'll mention too is that again, with these slide serrations. Slide serrations, good. Thank you. Keep them up. But this grip on the side, okay? They're saying that this gun, the grip is slimmer. I think it just looks slimmer. I think the omission of the grip there just makes it look slimmer. People are defaulting to that. And I just want to get a calipers. I want to get them in front of me and measure them up. But I think we're going to find that it's basically the same dimensions aside from that little cutout right here, which is good. It's going to be basically the same gun. So rant over maybe until next time. But that's, I guess that's it for now. That's how I end my videos. That's it for now. That's it for now. I don't know. I guess, yeah, here we go. I guess that's it for now.